What's up, my friends? How is everything going? So in today's lesson, I'm going to talk about the date and time inside of Flutter. As you can see from today's agenda, we will cover everything you need to know for this date time object inside the Flutter. And also, I will going to teach you how you can use the default date picker and time picker inside the Flutter. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification so you won't miss out my latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. First, back to our Visual Studio Code and also connect with our Android emulator. And here you can see inside my main.dart file, I only implement a very basic stable widget since we need to maintain a state when we use this showDatePicker and showTimePicker. So first, we're going to talk about the datetime object inside the Flutter, how you can convert the datetime to timestamp and also convert it back to datetime. I'm going to declare a variable called datetime to store our datetime object, and I'm going to declare datetime, and here I'm going to implement this initial state method. I'm going to initialize our datetime here and trying to use this datetime class. And using this datetime class, we can access to it is different name constructor. And here I would choose this now constructor, name constructor. And when I save, you will see our time shown here. But I know because we implement this initial state method, we need to press this restart instead of this hot reload. Here I'm going to change this hardcode value to our datetime variable. Right, datetime variable. So when I save, you will see we have this text widget will show none value because the hot reload didn't solve our problem. We need to restart. So first I'm going to show when we hot reload, it will show this none value, but we need to restart. When I restart, we'll run this initial state method and we will initialize this datetime object, and you will see we have this formatted datetime show on the screen, right? Every time you want to revoke this initial state, you need to press this restart button instead of this reload button. Next, I'm going to show you how you can use this datetime object to create the timestamp. So we're going to declare another variable called timestamp. So under this datetime, initialize the datetime, we're going to initialize our timestamp as well, and we're just using this datetime, and we're using what's the method? It's called millisecond since Apple. Going to use this method, and we probably need to save, and we're going to change this datetime to our timestamp, right? So when I save, I also need to restart because hot reload didn't re-invoke this initial state method. So I'm going to click this restart button. When I restart, you will see we got this timestamp show on our screen. This is the timestamp we get from the datetime object we create. To change this timestamp back to the datetime, we're going to use another method which is inside the datetime class called from millisecond since output. So back to Visual Studio Code, and we're going to create another variable. I just call it another datetime, right? So I'm going to initialize this one and using our timestamp here. So I'm going to set we're using this DateTime from milliseconds since 8-bit, and I'm going to pass this timestamp here, right? I'm going to save it, and also I will replace this timestamp with our next DateTime. So I'm going to save, and as well we need to restart our application, and you will see we convert these timestamp back to the formal format DateTime. Okay, we finished the first part, and next I'm going to show you how you can format this DateTime. So back to Visual Studio, and here I'm going to introduce a library. It's very popular called intl, right? You have thousands of likes, and you just go to this installing tab, and you follow instruction and put this into your path specific YAML file and put it under these Cupertino icons, right? Make sure it's under this dependency. Okay, we put here, and also we need to import this library in our main.dart file. So we will put on the top, and then I'm going to format it into this one, right? As you see, the default format, we have a year, month, and day and time. So we want just a year, month, and day. So if we don't want this time, how can we do that? So we're going to use this DateFormat object inside this package. So we're going to format this DateTime, another DateTime, right? So we're going to use the another DateTime. So we delete this one, and we could use this DateFormat. So you need to pass the format string you want to format. Here I just want to format to the year, month, and date, and I just put it here, and I call this a format method and pass our data into here. So I'm going to save, and you will see this one will return a string. So we can just place this another data here inside this one. Let's save, and also don't forget to click this restart button, and you will see we have these year, month, and date show on our screen. You can also format it a little bit and change the style to something like this. Maybe you put like a day before and year at the end. So we save again. We need to click the restart button. Just wait a few seconds. You will see it actually format to the format we want. Also, inside our DateTime class, we have this static method which turn this formatted string into a DateTime object, right? And you need to follow the same structure like this, and you cannot customize. You cannot turn something like this one into a DateTime object. You must follow this specific format, right? And when you back to official documentation, and the format shows similar like this. So let's try, and back to Visual Studio Code, and we're going to change this format to our this one, and then we're going to use this format string, and we create another DateTime object. So we can create the for example, I call it new DateTime, and I'm going to initialize and using the DateTime dot parse, we parse this format string, right? And also we put this new time inside our test widget. So let's save, and we're going to restart it, right? So let's restart, and you will see we got our DateTime object here. Okay, next I'm going to show you how you can use this showDatePicker and showTimePicker inside the Flutter. So let's back to Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to create a button. So when I click this button, I invoke this showDate or showTimePicker, and we can select a time or day. Then we will display in this page. So we're going to modify it a little bit. So let's delete all of those stuff and change this back to default text. And here I'm going to create a variable which could store the value we choose, and I'm going to create selected date, right? Inside this showDatePicker, we have this initial date attribute. We need to pass the date time. So we're going to initialize our selected date just using this DateTime.now. We initialize it, and we can pass this one into our initialized date. So we're going to replace a center widget. I wrap this text widget with our column widget, and under the text widget, we're going to put the button, elevated button here. I'm going to implement this on press method, and also the trial should be just a test widget, and choose date. Let's save. We can also make a alignment to center. Okay, let's save, and we're going to change this widget to our showDatePicker widget. And here I'm going to change this hardcode value to our selected date. And inside this onPressed attribute, and I'm going to implement a function. So I wrote it here. I just call it select date function. So inside this function, we actually pass our context because we need to use this showDatePicker. The showDatePicker have a three required attribute. The first one is this context, and then is this initial day, and also first day and the last day. So those four should be required, so it must be passed. So here we're going to implement this select, just call the selected date, and we pass our context here. And also you'll notice we use this wait, so we need to make these method asynchronized. Okay, so I think that's all. And also we call this setState to this picker, and this DateTime is unknownable, you know, so we need to check if this pick the no equals now. And the reason is when user click this button, we will show a dialog for user to pick a date. If user click cancel, right, so we will not get anything back from the user, so the value will be none. So we can now call this setState method, and we want the value is not none, means the user select some date, and also it's not equal this the day we initialized, so we will change the state. So let's save the code. And first is now, right? And we need to restart because we want to revoke this initial state method. So we're going to restart. Yeah, we have these shown here. And so we click this button and we will show this pop-up, this showState pop-up. So initialize the date would be the first now. So it will be August 18. So we're going to you will see our first day is from 2000. You'll see we first day is from 2000 and the last day will be 2025, and we can choose this date, and we can choose the day after, so we can choose 19, and when we press the OK, and you will see this set day invoked, so our text will be changed to tomorrow. So that's OK, and you will see this day now changed to tomorrow, right? So when the user click cancel, so next thing will happen, we will this line of code didn't invoke, so we cancel. So we didn't change our state, so we keep the same. Actually format our date, so inside this one, and I can just wrap with curly bracket, and I will use this day for mat. I'm using this DateFormat format. I'm going to format these, and I'm going to just like I want to use this style, so just year and month and date. So I save, back to Visual Studio Code, and I paste it here. So let's save, and you see we ignore the rest part, so we only keep year, month, and date. So we can select another day, like day before 17, and we hit OK. You see our day is changed because the setState method invoked. So if you didn't familiar with this setState, I actually create a tutorial talk the detail about the stateful widget in the Flutter. So feel free to reach out to my channel page and go to see that video first. Okay, next we're going to implement this showTimePicker. For the showTimePicker, we're going to create another variable to store the selected time. Okay, so selected time, and also we're going to initialize it. And so as you see, these actually receive initial time actually need this time update object. So we're going to create this time update object, and we need to pass the hour and the minute. So we're going to create an object of this time update. So I think the hours would be 23 and minute would be also 23. And when you move your mouse, you'll see that the description for this constructor. For the hours, the value must be between 0 and 23. So for the minute, it must be between 0 and 49. So we create our time, and also we're going to implement another method. So here we just can copy here, and we're going to change these to time, select time, and also change these to showTimePicker. So we're going to remove those three, and so first the required one would be building context. So we already did it, and then is this initial time. So let's implement this initial time, and I pass this selected time. Also, let's see, this should be select time. Okay, this should be the day time of day. Okay, So I think we finish this method, select time, and then we're going to change this button to select time, and also change this method to select time. Okay, so here I'm going to delete this part, and I think we could show something like inside this select time. We can access to it is hours, and also the value called minutes, because select time is the object of time of day. We restart, so you won't see any non-point error. So when we restart, we actually grab this initial value, so it's 23 and 23 hours, and I pop the here just hours, and also after this I can just append minutes. So let's save. So we have 23 hours and 23 minutes, and I'm going to change it, right? So I will invoke this method. So when I select time, you'll see this default of a Flutter showTimePicker widget. So you can select time, and we can choose it's morning or the afternoon. So I'm going to change to morning, just 3 a.m. and probably 30. So let's hit this OK. When you hit this OK, you will see our time is changing to 3 hours and 13 minutes. And if I click this select time, I just call this cancel, nothing will happen because this one is equal to none. So this method won't be invoked. So everything will keep as the before. I think that's all for today's lesson, and I hope now you have a better understanding of how you can use this time and date inside the Flutter. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you like my video, please thumbs up my video, and I would be really appreciate. Okay, so thanks for your watching, and I will see you in next video.